Let's return to the Longview area, and KGW's Catherine Cook live along the Columbia. Catherine, we know some of that chemical ended up in the river and some of it in a ditch system. What are folks saying about the impact right now?
Well, first, David, some reassurance. They say right now there is no concern that the drinking water supply has been impacted. But their concern is the contaminated water in the ditch system. They say the longer it stays there, the higher the probability that it could impact the aquifer system below. On the Oregon banks of the Columbia River, across from the industrial blast site in Longview, Jason Kent is fishing for steelhead.
I was wondering why nobody was fishing out here.
Like many in the community, he's learning more about the massive implosion that rocked the Nippon Dynawave plant Tuesday morning. Top of mind, the lives lost. But there's also the environmental impact. Plant officials say white liquor, a caustic mix of sodium hydroxide and sodium sulfide used to make paper pulp, spilled into the plant's storm drains, contaminating local dikes and the Columbia River. They've recovered about a dozen dead carp from the dikes.
Hopefully, I won't be impacted, but that is something to keep in mind.
The Environmental Protection Agency tells us they deployed responders to monitor for potential impacts on local waterways and air quality. They're coordinating with the U.S. Coast Guard and the Washington Department of Ecology.
It bears repeating, those results show no evidence of airborne contamination. We will, of course, continue to monitor over the coming days.
Their focus remains on contaminated water in sloughs and drainage ditches. Crews are flushing impacted water through the Longview ditch system, drawing it away from residential areas and the city's water supply and diluting it to a level that they say can be safely discharged into the Columbia River. For now, a warning for people to steer clear of these ditches and dikes.
The areas that they're speaking of to stay away from currently now are to the north in the industrial way from Washington Way to Prudential.
Back along the Columbia, officials haven't issued any warnings to stay away from the river, but there's clear hesitation from some along the shores.
We'll definitely be showering tonight and we're not letting them get into the water because we don't want to have any more exposure than what they're allowed.
Back live, crews say during the dilution process, they'll continue to test the water, hoping to see lower pH levels. If they don't, they plan to stop the pumping process, take other measures until they see results, and then they'll start back up again. David, back to you.
Let's hope it all goes smoothly. Catherine Cook along the Columbia tonight. Thanks, Catherine.